Hello, all you wonderful people out there in the dark. Thank you again for checking in. So I wanted to talk about idioms and why they are awesome and quite frankly, the best. And there's so many, we're going to do more than just one video. We'll probably do 3 or 4. So this will be part 1. Yes, Sancho, we're going to talk about that one for sure. Absolutely, that's one of the ones I'm going to mention. Hey, by the way, how to go with I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Are we going to go through this again? Yeah. Did it kind of go the way of who was that gal you dated a while back? Sharon Weed? Yeah. Yeah. Who was that other gal? That's right, polyester. She was awesome. Yeah. I forgot about Anaconda and Peg Leg. Yep. So I don't know is going to go by the way of Sharon Weed, who I was very fond of, Miss Esther, polyester, Anaconda, and Peg Leg. Great. All right, Sancho. I got a thing I got to give you, buddy. Okay. So where to start? Let's start with the real McCoy. We all say it. That's got to be the real McCoy. It's the real McCoy. Where did that come from? Well, in 1872, this cat named Elijah McCoy actually invented an oil drip cup, mechanism for locomotives. And it was absolutely amazing. And railroad engineers, when they were looking at locomotives or looking to, purchase new locomotives, one of the things they were worried about is copies, because there were a lot of these oil drip cups that were inferior based on the one that Elijah McCoy had invented. So they used to ask for, hey, does that oil drip cup, is it a real McCoy? That's where that comes from. So number 2, cat's got your tongue. We all know what that means. Why aren't you talking? It's odd that you're not saying anything. Well, that's actually from ancient Egypt. Those cats, no pun intended, actually used to cut the tongue out of lyres and they'd feed the tongue to the cat. So, cat got your tongue. What's next? Let's see what's next. Bury the hatchet. So we all know what that means. It's, hey, let's stop fighting. Why can't we be friends? Well, that phrase or idiom comes from when the Puritans used to negotiate with the Native Americans. They used to bury their weapons in the ground, so they would be inaccessible while they were, working out a treaty. Hence the term bury the hatchet. We all know bigwig. That guy must be a bigwig. Well, that comes from the 18th century, and most politicians, they all wore wigs, quite frankly, because they weren't washing their hair and you'd have ticks and lice, and I'm sure it was quite disgusting. But the more influential or more important you were in politics, the larger your wig. Hence the term bigwig. Let's see, number 5. Let's see, how about don't look a gift horse in the mouth. It's pretty straightforward. A long time ago when people used to, when they were purchasing a horse, or even today I suppose, they'd look inside their mouth at their teeth, and that would help determine the shape that they were in, their physical condition, as well as just the condition of their teeth. And don't look a gift horse in the mouth is if someone is kind enough to give you a horse, the last thing you should do is, look at their teeth. What's another one? Bite the bullet. Now, bite the bullet's pretty straightforward. Today we know it's just like, hey, you got to bite the bullet. You're going to have to just do whatever this thing is you have to do. Well, the term actually comes from wartime, when there wasn't enough anesthesia to knock you out. They'd hand you a bullet to put between your teeth and bite down while they were sawing off your leg or arm. I'm assuming that moved quickly to wood, because my assumption is you're biting a bullet, you'd chip a tooth, and so now once they're done cutting your leg off, now they got to fix your teeth. Let's see, what's another one? One for the road. This is actually from the Middle Ages. And when a man, or I suppose a woman, was condemned to die, they would walk you through the streets for execution. And right before you walk through the street, they'd stop the cart, and you were allowed to have one drink before the road. Hence the term "one for the road." So you get one last pop in. They take you to the, I suppose, the guillotine or the hangsman's noose or whatever it was they were going to do to you. Kind of interesting. The cold shoulder. Also, this is from medieval times. So after the feast and the party, just about the time it was over, the host would actually hand his guest a chunk of cold meat or the shoulder from either a cow, a beef or pork, and that was his way of letting you know it was time to go. So when you give someone the cold shoulder, like today, you sort of ignore them. Back then it meant it's time to go. Riding shotgun. Now, most people know this. Today, hey, I'm riding shotgun. That means I want to sit in the front seat. I don't want to ride bitch. But it's actually from the Stagecoach, Wells Fargo. You'd have one guy, controlling the horses, and the cat sitting next to you would have a shotgun, in theory, to protect you from being robbed. Now, I don't know that comes from the actual time period where they'd say, hey, you're going to ride shotgun, or that's something that came a little later with movies. For those of you who have seen The Magnificent Seven, Yul Brynner is on his, he's riding the stagecoach, and the great Steve McQueen has a shotgun, and he's shaking the shells. He's trying to draw attention away from Yul Brynner, and that subtle movement was one way to sort of make it interesting. No one really knows about what the hell he's doing, shaking a shotgun shell, but he shakes them, puts them in the gun, and anyway, I digress. Show your true colors. Now, this is a nautical term. Today, obviously, it's when someone shows you who they really are. But once upon a time, ships would fly multiple flags, but under the rules of warfare, you couldn't fire on a ship till you showed your true colors or true flag, I suppose. It's kind of interesting. Close but no cigar. This would be number 11. This was basically a parlor when people did parlor games for adults. Obviously, the prize was typically a cigar. So close but no cigar. That's sort of where that comes from. Put a sock in it. Now we know what that means. Basically, shut up. My old man used to say it all the time. It's actually from the 19th century. People would take woolen socks and they'd stuff it in the horns of gramophones to sort of lower the volume or lower the sound, because they didn't have volume control at that time. What's another one? Let the cat out of the bag. That's like a give away a secret, I suppose. Well, once upon a time, when people sold smaller pigs, when they were bringing them to market or bringing them to their customers, they would put it in the bag. And a lot of times they would slip a cat in instead of a pig. And unfortunately, sometimes the cat would get out of the bag, and I'm assuming would screw things up. And if that was ancient Egypt, odds are they'd cut your tongue out. But anyway, that's letting a cat out of the bag. An old familiar, the whole 9 yards. This is probably from World War II. The planes, the fighters, they basically had 9 yards of ammunition. So if they were firing away at the end, hopefully they shot them and they say, hey, I had to give them the whole 9 yards. Let's see, let's do one more. Balls out. Balls out, or balls to the wall, balls deep. Really what that is there was a mechanical governor on ships and locomotives that had 2 weighted steel balls, and as the engine moved, they would slowly drift up, and once they got all the way to the top and they were spinning, that would be balls out. Basically, we're as fast as we could go without destroying the engine. Balls out, balls to the wall. You know what? I've actually got a couple pictures. Take a quick look here. Here's one of these mechanical governors. Kind of cool, right? Anyway, so there was, what did I just rattle off? About 15 idioms. I really think they're fun. I think we'll do a few more of these. I'm sure I could come up with a ton more. Hopefully you had some fun. I feel bad for Sancho. His date with I don't know didn't work out, but that seems to be a continual process. Anyway, in this world, when you could be anything you want to be, you be kind, you be humble, you be forgiving, and you be melting snow. Bye-bye. Oh, I want my booze, and my book, and my glasses.